Well, hello again, awesomes. Um, well, all right. So for this week, I told you we talk about research, and so um, while research is also a lot about finding resources, we've talked a little bit about that. If maybe just kind of refresh our memories a little bit about research. Some of the research that we do, a lot of times, we do find through Google, right? We looked at that text that earlier that kind of talked about you can uh, Google something. Excuse me. You can Wikipedia something. You can Google Scholar something, right? We're going to try to find the scholarly type sources. Not that you can't find them through Google. Not that you can't find them through Google Scholar. And not even that you can't find them through Wikipedia. I don't have a preference as far as those are concerned. My encouragement with Wikipedia is that you look at the footnotes, don't take what's said in the article itself as gospel until you try to find its original source and then try to determine whether it is a scholarly source. I'm going to assume 1060 that we don't necessarily have to have a complete unit on scholarly sources, but just by way of friendly reminder, a scholarly source is a peer reviewed source, right? It's a source that has gone through the rigmarole, if you will, right? Being peer edited for not only for grammar and mechanics and those kind of things, but more importantly and more specifically, content. So when something is peer reviewed or peer edited, it's been sent out to specialists, other people who have worked in the field consistently, concurrently, or in that particular space. And so we want to make sure that we find those sources. It dawns on me that maybe I'll do a video just to kind of reiterate some of those things so we understand about a scholarly source. Generally, they're going to find these articles are going to be in journals. The easiest way to find those, in my opinion, is through the Oakland University library. Just go on to the Oakland Library website and hit search and just make sure you select journals and peer review and then locate where your topic is. And that's what's kind of interesting about locating where your topic is. Now, the interesting thing, I'm going to go over this in its entirety, but I do want to point out some things that I find extremely fascinating. Number one, and primarily, is this part here about joining the conversation. All right. So when I say you go look up and find the space where they're talking about your topic, right? So you guys are in teams, right? You guys can do this together in a shared kind of way. Start taking your topic keywords. Find out where is this conversation taking place, right? Then when you find it, then we can kind of really start to think about um, what you're doing because it's essentially what you're doing. Remember, if you don't know this already, this is how academics talk to each other, right? They go to conferences, right? But generally, how they exchange ideas or how we exchange ideas, either through a conference paper and more than that, through a published paper. So someone is writing about something in the space to say that I'm interested in. I read what they've got to say. I'll read who they quoted. I'll read some other people that are talking about the same thing, and then I'm going to join the conversation, much like you're going to be doing through this research paper, by putting together and saying, okay, here's what these people are saying about this topic. I'm going to add my kind of 2 cents into it, right? So that's how academics talk. So to participate in that conversation, we first need to find where they're talking about and read what it is that they're saying about that, right? So reading scholarly articles can sometimes be challenging, but once you find it, you want to read these rhetorically. So think back about 1050, right? In the rhetorical analysis, audience, right? Purpose. Why was this thing written? How is it being rhetorically? What's the rhetorical argument? What's the overall main argument? And she goes into details. Rosenthal here. Here's strategies for rhetorical reading. This is not a super long read, but I encourage each one of you to take the time to read this. It will make you help you find when to, even if let's say you find a source you're not quite sure, you can look at it, check out the author, read the abstract. Most scholarly sources will have an abstract. Read the intro and the conclusion. Then you can determine whether or not you need to read the whole body or just pick out certain sections of the body to read. All right. It's really, really a time saver, not only for this class, but for your other classes as well. All right. We'll talk more about this, I think, later on in the week, but this will get you a good start there. All right, guys. Happy reading. Use these strategies. I do every day. Bye. Stay safe.